Just about cleared. Behind us, the hoopla is just about over, and we're going to play, I think, pretty soon.
Well, and the hoopla is the greatest part of it. You know, if you're in pro football, this is your life, and right now there's no place you'd rather be than right down there in the field. And 30 teams start, and they go to training camp, and they have training camp and preseason and regular season, playoffs, championship games to get here. I remember when I coached the Oakland Raiders in Super Bowl 11, before we went out in the field, I told them, I said, you know, we haven't done anything yet. You know, getting here is nothing. Winning here is the greatest.
I was part of the broadcast in Super Bowl #1, and believe me, it's nothing like that. John, nobody expected Atlanta to be here, as I said a minute ago. What do you think Atlanta has to do to beat Denver?
Now, I think they need a big day from Jamal Anderson, because offensively, that's where they start. If Jamal Anderson has a big day and the Denver Broncos have to worry about that run, then Chris Chandler can be a lot more effective. He can be effective without a running game, but if he has a running game, the best thing that he You know, one thing, Pat, you always talk about these games and being big games, you have to be able to run and pass, but turnovers and penalties always play such a big part in it. But we said earlier that Jamal Anderson has to get off to a good start, and a good start is like this, finding holes so that he can square his shoulders and run downhill.
Which is exactly what he's doing right here.
Look how powerful he is. I mean, from the waist down, he is very, very powerful, and that's where he gets all his drive.
5'11", just over 230.
And when he was in college, he was a 250-pound fullback.
2nd and 3. Anderson again. He is close to a first down. Brought down by Atwater and Traylor.
Tell you one thing, this Atlanta Falcons team is coming out and going after this Denver Bronco defense. And another thing I'll say, that Jamal Anderson early in this game is running much more aggressively than he did 2 weeks ago early in the game against the Vikings.
That's noticeable already.
Because the Broncos have done everything so far to take it away, you know, to take that run away. They've been up there, and again, they've had Atwater up, they've brought their safeties up, and this Atlanta Falcon offense has been able to gash them.
Sticks are brought out for a measurement. This turf's in great shape. George Toma and his son, who usually work on the Super Bowl turf, are to be commended for an excellent job here.
Yeah, Dan Reeves is saying 2 tight ends. Oh, here's something interesting. He's putting a little Tim Dwight in there. Now, sometimes they'll sneak Tim Dwight in the backfield.
Line him up at tailback.
Yep, and they're not doing it here. I mean, he's out there as a slot now. But they got that bunch formation. You see the 3 guys over here.
To the right. 3rd and short. The sneak by Chandler should be enough. It is. First down, Atlanta.
Yeah, that was the old trick where you put the bunch out there and you want them to say, look out for the bunch, bunch right, bunch right, bunch right, and then your quarterback sneak. You see what happens? See, they're getting them here, so everything is pointing out here. Everyone's looking, what are they going to do out here? And then you just take your quarterback and let him sneak the ball. See, they spread them out a little, then they give them motion, and then they get their lead with the motion, and Chris Chandler just picks up that first down.
Just outside the 10.
See, The old distraction before the sneak.
Mathis, the move man. The handoff is to Anderson. Finds a little gap and gets to about the 8. Stopped by Tanabasa.
Against the Minnesota Vikings, we said how the Atlanta Falcons started out, and they started out passing in order to run later. And in this game, they're starting out running. I mean, that time they just went to the left side, and he just got right in there behind Brian Kozlowski.
Well, if you talk to the coaches, both of them, almost to a word, said the same thing. We've got to be able to run the ball, and we've got to be able to stop the run.
Well, Chris Chandler told us yesterday, he said, I hope we start out passing and then run later, but he didn't get his hope.
Nope. Back to throw it. Here comes the Bronco blitz, and Chandler is going to take off with it. Throws it incomplete. For Santiago, who was...
Oh, and Bill Romanowski really had a shot on him. As you said, he was coming on a blitz, and he had Chandler zeroed in. And Chandler feels it. Here's Romanowski right here. Now watch here. Chandler feels it right now. He gets picked off a little, and he just steps up. The guy that saved him was his fullback, Brian Kozlowski.
That's exactly right. Here's Santiago, who tipped the ball. Pass fluttered getting there, but it got there to Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, this is a thing that the Broncos will do to spread yet. See, here's John Elway here. Then he has a receiver here, and here. 5 receivers, and no one in the backfield other than the quarterback. And they started out that formation on first down and then second down. Like Mike Shanahan says, he said, I want to spread them out early, go empty early, and see what they're going to do to it.
Not empty now as McCaffrey goes in motion. Terrell Davis, couple of yards.
And that's the problem with empty is that you can't run Terrell Davis, and Terrell Davis is the best running back in football. And I think that, every game that they play, Mike Shanahan says, we have to run Terrell Davis 25 times. And then in this one, he said, maybe in this game we'll run him 30 times. He said, Terrell Davis could run 32 times. And I think if we would have kept there talking to him, he'd be up to about 50 times.
Because there is no next week. He's got a lot of time to get well. Again, he gets the ball. Davis gets another couple.
And the key to this Atlanta defense is they play so well on defense. That these 4 guys here, 1, 2, 3, 4, when the ball is snapped, they all penetrate and try and play on this side of the line of scrimmage. And they're guys that are strong, and they always play their gaps. You see, they stay in their gaps, and that's the thing about this Atlanta Falcons defense. It is very, very disciplined.
3rd and 7. Elway lines up back in the shotgun. This time it's not an empty backfield, though.
Go. It's a nickel defense, and they put in their nickel back, and he just beat him on a slant. And he just started out, then he went to the inside. And one thing about these Bronco receivers, they run well after the ball, and they block well.
1st and 10, Denver at the Atlanta 24. A gain of 41 yards.
I was just saying that they were in nickel, and the guy trying to cover him was Randy Fuller, their nickelback.
Davis gets the carry.
That's the thing about this Bronco offense that makes it so good. You can say that Terrell Davis is something, and we have to stop him. But then you have John Elway, one of the all-time greats, and he has Rod Smith out on one side, Ed McCaffrey on the other side. And then they got Shannon Sharp as a tight end. So anything you do or any adjustment you make, they have another way to go where they can slice you up.
2nd and 8. Davis deep. At about the 11.
And that's the first time that they ran a play pass in this game. And that's what Chandler does so well. In fact, Jamal Anderson does that well too, where you fake the run. You fake the run, and then you throw the ball. Now watch this fake here. Watch Jamal Anderson here. Part of this is Chandler, and the fake. Part of it is Jamal Anderson. See how he puts his arms out there, and then he just carries out that thing. See, and then Chandler looks the other way, and Jamal Anderson keeps going like he's running. Then they say, oh, he doesn't have the ball, but they let him go as a pass receiver.
2nd, about a yard. Anderson nudges left, and that last little lunge, I'm sure, got him enough for a first.
Well, they brought Terrence Mathis in there, so they had their fullback, Brian Kozlowski, and Terrence Mathis. They bring their wide receivers, both of these teams do. They bring their wide receivers in, and they use them as blockers. Now, here's Kozlowski. He's the fullback. He gets a lead block there. Pretty good. He gets a pretty good push in there for Anderson. And then just outside of him was number 81, Kevin Mathis, making a block. Terrence Mathis making a block.
First down, Atlanta. Anderson's the deep back. He gets the carry. Kozlowski in front of him. Anderson down to about the 8 or 9.
See, that's the same thing that Denver did earlier. You know, we talked about usually when the fullback lines up here, they're going to run to this side. So to counter it, you line your fullback up here, then you lead him over here. Then you start here. So they think that the lead is coming here, but you take a lead to the other side. You see Kozlowski's over there. Now instead of leading straight ahead, he leads back to his right, and he's darn near like a pulling guard. And Jamal Anderson just gets right in his back pocket.
And Kozlowski got a good block on Gudrez. Second down. They need 4. Anderson won't get it. He'll get half of it.
Well, you know, the last time they were down there, they had 3rd and 1, and they were stopped for no gain. Then they had 4th and 1, and they were stopped for no gain again.
Dan Reeves and Steve DeBerg, 45-year-old Steve DeBerg.
There's Greg Robinson. He's the defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos.
Injured Bronco on the play.
Watch Jamal Anderson here. Here, Pat, watch his left knee. Hits Darian Gordon right in the head. Darian Gordon is going to tackle him low. And with Jamal Anderson, that is a mistake. He got the knee right in the head.
Torrey James has taken his place. Looks like he got him twice. Byron Chamberlain.
Like we said, we knew that Shannon Sharp was going to have a big day and was a big part of this offense. He gets injured, so Byron Chamberlain comes in, and he's the guy. And as I said earlier, John Elway doesn't care. I mean, whoever it is, he's just gonna go after him. Ed McCaffrey hasn't caught a pass yet, and you see why? You see what happened there? He was coming out across. He didn't see number 97, Cornelius Bennett, and old Biscuit put him right on his back.
Chamberlain replacing Sharp. This is a Denver timeout.
You know, that's what Denver does to you. As they run those crosses, they run them in layers. So if you come up, they throw it to the second layer. If you come way up, then they throw it deep like they did to Rod Smith. If you drop off, then they throw it to the short guy like Chamberlain. And then you have the sacrificial lamb, who in that last case was Ed McCaffrey.
And that explained well why McCaffrey hasn't caught any passes.
And why he got up looking at his ear hole.
Yeah. This guy sees a lot. Here comes the reverse. That's Rod Smith, and he's chased out of bounds. Played well by Atlanta.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier how Mike Shanahan, you know, right after he sees a play, he goes to that next play. He has that board down there. He's already called the next play. Now he's going to watch and see what they do on second down and get ready to call third down. But, you know, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, he's ahead 17-6. He is pulling everything out in this game, and there's no way that he is going to become conservative.
He is that attacking mentality. Don't let them dictate to us what we do. We'll do the dictating. Here's Elway. Back to throw. Has time. The pass comes out. And had not Rod Smith slipped down, he was gone for enough for a first. And a timeout taken by Denver. That's all they had.
And see what he'll want to do now is he has two things. The first thing he wants to do, because he has third down here, he wants to get a first down and wants to get in field goal range. So you're not going here. You're about the 36-yard line. You don't go for the end zone. It's a big play for Atlanta defense.
They haven't been able to stop him yet. Elway going deep. A flag on the play. Griffith stretched just over his fingertips. A flag on the play. I think they're going to get him for roughing the passer.
he was coming at it. He just kind of put him down. I was watching Archambault, and he got close, and you could just see him jerk down out of the picture.
Flag on the play. Bernie Kukar will call it.
Yeah, it'll be holding against Neal.
If it is, it'll take him out of even Jason Elam's range for a field goal attempt.
Holding. 62 offense.
62.
It's a 10-yard penalty, still third down.
As John Madden said, still third down. Dan Neal guilty of holding.
Yeah, you're going to see Dan Neal. He's the right guard here. And you see, here comes Lester Archambault. And you see him, he put his left hand under his neck and pushed him with his right hand. And the referee, Bernie Kukar, was right there, and he just threw the flag right at both of them.
3rd and 14, and all of a sudden.
Jailbreak.
Yep. Atlanta's defense wasn't ready again.
No, they had the old 15-man defense.
And they called the timeout, this one.
And if you can't play in this league or in this game, you can't play the old 5-5-5.
That's how they got burned on the long touchdown pass from Elway to Rod Smith. They weren't ready on the defensive side of the ball. And again, this time they called a timeout because of that. Rich Brooks runs the Atlanta defense.
You know, whenever you put a fullback like Howard Griffith downfield, you're going to get a linebacker having to cover him, and that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
You know, you're looking for where you can get your back on their linebacker and get him deep.
And that was Henri Crockett back there with Griffith.
And he ran pretty well with Griffith.
Yes, he did.
But that's a matchup. I mean, that's been something in the NFL that we've always looked for. You know, try and get a back on a linebacker, but get him spread out and get him deep. And Crockett did a good job of that coverage. Of course, it wouldn't have counted anyway, even if he caught the ball. Dan Neal was still caught holding.
Cornelius Bennett, the other outside linebacker on the other side. He has already said if Atlanta should win.
For some errors.
He was telling us that we were talking with him about missing the game, and he said, you know, people always say you're going to miss the camaraderie, the locker room, the players. He said the thing I don't miss so much is that because I'm so much older than the rest of them.
But what he's going to miss is he's going to miss the competition. He's going to miss playing the game. When you play at the level that John Elway plays, there's not a lot of people in this world that know that level.
And not a lot of people know the feeling that the Denver Broncos have at this moment.
This NFL Films production